Okay, so we're now getting ready to build JD, and part of the process, part of the wonderful thing with the Easy Robot kits is that they have a piece of software from a company called Synthium called Easy Builder, and Easy Builder allows you to control the robot, and it allows you to be able to build it and to put everything together. Now, one of the things you'll notice is a lot of white plastic on these bots, and those white plastic pieces are available in the public domain as STL files, so you can download them and 3D print them, which is kind of cool because you don't have to do them in white. If you wanted to, you could actually take them and produce them in your school colours or your favourite football team colours or whatever. And what we're going to do now is to start to put our robot together based upon the instructions that I'm reading off the Easy Builder software. This is our body and shoulder piece, and what I'm going to have to do is to very gently take this tab off, and I'll put that to one side, and I'm going to mount the EasyB controller onto the shoulder plate, just because shoulder plate onto the body plate, just because we're starting to build it and we're starting to put the connectors and everything together. So you'll see there's a tab here and there's a tab on here. These are just connector pins to take power from the LiPo battery, which is inside here, and connect it to the controller. So I'm going to very gently plug that in. Now that's connected. Now what you'll notice on here is you have a couple of pieces on the side. Now these are actually connected to servos inside the case, and these cables are for those servos. They're labeled left and right, and it says we need to connect the left shoulder servo, which is this one, to port D2, and port D2 is where are we? This is port D2, so we connect that like that, and then it says connect the right, sorry, it doesn't say D2, it says D3, so we'll disconnect that and we'll connect it onto D3. The right hand connector should go on to D2, so we now have his shoulders connected. Now you can't see this, but I will show you this a bit later. You then go on to the next stage of construction, which is talking about adding the humanoid head. So this is our humanoid head, lots of cables, and one thing you'll notice is there are connectors on here that are they're kind of square, and there are other pieces on here which allow things to slide in, and this is the EasyB connector, and you basically just clip together. So that's the head mounted on the body. However, we also have four controllers, four cables. There's a cable here, untangle. This cable drives the camera. This is an I2C connector which connects the LEDs in the eyes here, and then you have controllers for motion up and down and left and right, and we're going to connect the ports down. Now I did this wrong. We start at D0, not at D1. So that's actually D2 and D3. We have to connect, looking at this is up and down, so this is the vertical. The vertical goes to port D1, and I'm not being smarty here, but I got that wrong, didn't I? Because as you can see, the way the servo is mounted here, this servo allows it to tilt that way and that way. So that's our vertical. So the vertical should go to D1. So we'll just disconnect that, and we'll connect the vertical onto D1. So that then gives us our motion that way. This servo is inside the head, and it's controlling, you can see the servo base here moving. That's a horizontal, so the horizontal goes on to D0, which is the first of our connectors, and there we go. So we have 4 servos connected. We now have to connect the camera to the camera port. This is an easy one. There is only one camera port, and we need to mount it so that the tabs are at the top so it fits in nicely, and that is mounted there. So that's our camera port, and then the RGB eyes, which is this connector, need to go to one of the I2C ports, and the I2C ports are these 3 here. So we are just going to again make sure we're the right way around, take that, clip it in. So now we have our shoulder servos, our head servos, well, head and neck, and our camera and our eyes. So basically we have vision and shoulders connected. On to the next step. And our next step is connecting an arm servo. So we need a 90-degree lever servo, which is, these are, I think, these are all the same. So here's one of our servos, and this is going on to the right hand side, sorry, going on to the left hand side, so left is that side, and these are for the upper arm, so these are going to again clip into place. Whoops, not too far. And we need to have it so that the connector is at the bottom, and this one connects to port D4, which surprisingly is the next port down. So there we go to D4. So we have our half an arm, and then we're going to connect a second servo onto the first, and again gently unwind, and this one is going to clip into that servo like that, and you'll see there's a slight stagger going along from here down to that one. This one is going to go down to the next port, which is D5, and these are kind of fiddly when you've got big old fat fingers like mine, but you get there eventually. So port D5, so now we have a large part of left arm. The final piece is to add a servo gripper, which basically ends up being the hand of the robot. Now this is the gripper, and as you can see, it's basically a tiny servo in here driving these gears, and as the gears turn it opens the hand and closes it. A lot of robots don't have this functionality. A lot of kits at this kind of price don't have that functionality, but having a gripper on a robot is a brilliant thing, and it's a great thing to add to a robot, because you can then do so much more with it. You can get the robot to pick up objects, you can get the robot to pass things, you can have it you can do lightsaber fights, you can do any kind of crazy things. And this one is going to go onto port D6, which is the next one down, and we have a robot with an arm. Ta-da! Let's see what's next. Surprisingly, we're going to build another arm. So we're going to take our arm, our next servo rather, and we're going to very carefully, just because I'm pedantic about these kind of things, I'm going to take the cable and feed it out of the opposite side, so that when I put that on, it comes out of the back neat and tidy, which is going to make the whole construction of the robot tidy. Again, next port down is D7, and we're starting to get complicated here. We've got lots of cables going in, and if you've watched the unboxing video, you would have seen a section where we started pulling these things out. When we're finished, these things are great. They kind of unwind and they act as cable wraps, and you can wrap pieces together so that you end up with a really tidy robot, and it doesn't get caught on things when you put it away. It just makes life a lot easier as you get going. Next piece is the next part of the arm, the lower arm, and again I'm going to pass the cable through just because of being tidy. I know my other half would say I'm never tidy, but with something like this it's worthwhile making an effort, because, well, it's always worthwhile making an effort, but I want this to be able to be used for a lot of different projects, and the neater it looks, the better. So again, we're going down to port D8, just continuing down that whole line. Right, and I'm guessing the next step is going to be putting the right hand gripper on, and this is our right hand gripper, which is going to go at the end. Squeeze that in, squeeze that in, and this goes across to port 9. We really are getting tight on here now. Port 9, and now we start to look at the legs. We have, obviously we've got a couple of feet left. We've got a couple of servos that we can use for the legs are now here. So we're going to undo the cable, and the servo needs to go, we're starting off with the left upper leg, Let me just have a see. If I want that to be the left upper leg, ideally I'd like the cable to come out the other side. So we'll pop the cable through. These are very easy to move, just be careful as you move them round. And what I'm doing, I'm moving it so that the servo connector for the next one is out to the outside, so that when I take that and I clip that in, you'll see the servo's out here. Give him a better stance, keep his legs further apart. This one goes to D12, and I just need to check. That was D9, so that's 10, 11. D12 is the first one down on the bottom set, so that's D12. I'm going to lay him face down like that at the moment, just because it's easier. Then we're going to take his left foot, which is this one. You can tell it's a left foot because it kind of leans over that way. And we're going to undo the cable out of there, cables I should say, because he has the ability to bend at the knee and also bend at the ankle. So if you imagine this was the knee connecting to there to go up and down, and then he has an ankle so it can tilt outwards to make that motion. I'm going to again pop our cable through the back just for tidiness sake. Tidy. Alright, going to pop that in. It's kind of on one foot at the moment, and the knee servo, which is this one, goes to port 13, which is here. Oops. Which is here. The ankle servo goes to 14. So there he is, kind of standing on one leg, a little bit hairy looking. So we have one servo left, which is this one obviously, and this is already out the back. So I'm going to very carefully take that and place it underneath. I don't want to tangle cables. This one goes to D16. Let me just check. So the last one was 14. So that would be 15. So this one would be port 16. We've got to skip a port. So that's on port 16. Last connected piece is going to be the right foot, and again let's pull the connectors out, and so this foot goes under here, so he's now stood. And we need our cables, connectors, connectors here. We're looking at the knee going to port 17, port 17 is, that's port 17, and the ankle is going to go to port 18. So there he stands, and he's actually been built, so that's the robot as is. However, if I show you that, that just looks like one awful mess. So what we need to do is to tidy up these cables, and it's kind of easy to do with this wire wrap stuff. You basically just start it off by threading it round, thread the cable round, and once you've started it, which is always harder than it seems, I think I'm going the wrong way. Once you've got it started, it's quite easy to follow through. I will do that offline, and I will put a picture together of the robot once he's done. That is JD built. Okay, and this is our final look, having been away and tidied up the cabling on the back. You'll see what I've done. I've used a twist tie to connect all the cables for the leg together, for the arms together separately, just so it's tidy and the cables aren't going to snag when you put them in a carrying case or something like that. There is one other thing I was going to touch on. There is a connector here on the front which allows you to connect things to it, and it's possible to get a there are available online, there are things for Lego, and it's possible to make a Lego adapter, and then you can use that and you can connect the sensor to him, so you can have the sensor in the databot actually follow round and take light readings, sound readings, acceleration, all that kind of thing from within the robot. And on that note, we will pack him away and then we'll charge him up, and we'll do later on this afternoon, we'll put together a little video on the calibration so we can get him set up and we can start to use him.